as you guys can see today, it's three of us here, so we're multiplying. We're no longer
That's right.
we're no longer stuck with me and Matt only. We have Zeus as well. Not sure if Zeus wants to say hello to the crowd. Okay, Matt, it's your turn to complain about the microphones now.
Right. Yeah. Well.
Because if you're talking, Zeus, we can't hear you. You might need to set up the mic. As Matt enjoys saying very much, Discord.
Yeah. Exactly. Typical Discord rugging conversations. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get into it. Hopefully, Zeus's microphone will sort itself out in due process. Thanks for joining, everybody. Apologies that we didn't get a community call last week. It was an exceptionally busy week last week, and a lot of time, energy, and focus went into covering, some of those tasks that really ate up most of the week. Some of the byproduct, though, of that, obviously, we now have Zeus with us in the community. He is my number two. We'll be helping a lot with keeping eyes and ears in the community, as well as once he gets up to speed, helping to play music while I'm trying to talk. So spent a lot of time last week taking care of a lot of the administrative stuff last week, as well as shopping around for some additional resource on the development side, and we'll continue to to look to strategically add people to the team that are going to be beneficial for a lot of our forward-looking plans. I had mentioned during, I believe, one of the last voice chats that that we were looking for development resource and that we had had some people to the team. They're still very much getting up to speed in terms of being able to add deliverables to the project, but the focus for this week was to really start to push out devlogs on a regular basis, so that we could have a little bit more transparency around what is actually being worked on. And so that's still the goal and the aim. That's the ask that I've made. And now with Zeus on board, the idea is that I can definitely not be splitting my time and really kind of sit on top of the dev side of things to push that work forward. So keep your eyes open and be on the lookout for some info around development in the form of devlogs. I'm assuming that as we kind of get that started, they'll probably be super high level, but nevertheless, info should be start rolling out here shortly. In terms of the other real hot button issue, I think that most people's questions are going to center and focus around Telegram. We are currently looking at developing a kind of like a subset team of the Discord moderators that would possibly be looking at opening up the Telegram, but we don't have all those faculties in place quite yet. So I don't really have an ETA on the Telegram. I know there's been a number of people that have mentioned in the chat that the members of the community would step up and essentially run or moderate the Telegram. I mean, in full transparency, I'm reluctant to do that just because of the the potential of a runaway train and not being able to have kind of any sort of reins or control over the Telegram or what that would look like, which was one of the chief complaints that people had about the last Telegram community, was that I didn't have seemingly the authority to moderate the moderators or to moderate the tone of the conversations that were happening there. So I am reluctant to go that path, but we are, obviously recognizing that people do still have a thirst for Telegram community for this project, and want to be able to provide that as a resource, but it just needs to be done in the right way. So if you have questions in regards to that today on the call, I'll basically going to leave it there. But um, but yeah, so we'll go ahead and maybe defer those questions for now. But I'm sure that we'll probably still get some more along those lines. Hermes, do we have written questions as well today? Just so everyone knows. Today's call will be capped at a max 30 minutes, just because I have another call that I have to immediately jump on after that. So that's basically like my hard limit for the day. So we'll try to maximize the time here.
We do have lots of questions. It's actually going to be hard to push them all in, but there's a couple of them that basically lots of people have pushed, so we're going to try and focus mainly on those. Couple of you guys have been saying no sound. While Matt was talking, I joined in with a spare account. Sounds fine to me, so it's not on our end. So worst case scenario, you are stuck with the recording, I'm guessing. Not much I can do from my end to fix your computers, people. Okay, so one question that's been asked a lot is, what is the current strategy to get new people in? How do you plan to get more investors and public interest into the project?
I mean, so there's a couple different ways that this can be done, and I know that we've had conversations around this a number of times before. I mean, obviously, there's one way that you can attract people to a project. It's the far more traditional way of essentially direct marketing. And that is still very much something that, as a project, we will do, we'll aim to do. It's very much going to be focused around, a campaign. A campaign is built around, like something that you're launching from. So for Meme Kombat, that would be obviously focused on the game, the combat arena. So we do have a campaign that is moving forward. It's taking a little bit longer to deploy, but obviously we want to be strategic about it as well. And part of the things I think that have affected that is trying to maximize those efforts with especially like the last week and a half or so. The Ethereum chain initially had started when Base was having a really solid week and doing a lot of launches, and basically people were fleeing in mass exodus to Base chain to kind of just jump on the meta over there, which is understandable. That's the way that Web3 works, right? It's just everybody run this direction, now everybody run that direction. But there wasn't a whole lot of volume, a whole lot of action happening on ETH in general. So trying to get people to buy in on a previously launched project like Meme Kombat on a chain that was kind of devoid of volume was a little bit of a non-starter. Now, obviously, coming into this week, ETH is up today, and the market seems far more bullish. So we anticipate moving some of these action items on the marketing side forward. So direct marketing is one of them. Another way is by catapulting a community-led and community-backed peer-to-peer marketing, which is another item that, especially that the marketing team that I currently have, as well as being bolstered by Zeus's presence and helping to work alongside Hermes to move those things forward. This week, we're going to be focusing on ways to implement community-led peer-to-peer marketing. Obviously with rewards and giveaways to support that, because nobody really wants to do things for free, and why should they? So we'll be doing that as well. But then the other component is obviously it's just a spark where you start to adopt and onboard new users, expose them to your project. They will inevitably share that around or talk about it. And as we hit that tipping point, I anticipate that Meme Kombat will take off in a far more organic way. So I probably should work on maybe tightening up my answers and not making them so novelish. But hopefully that was an answer to that question. And Hermes, I guess we'll slide into the next one.
Yes, we will. And yes, you need to shorten those answers. Otherwise, in half an hour, we'll do only a few questions. Someone asks, where is it? Because, of course, now I lost the question. I'm interested in knowing the following. How much percentage of the arena gains will go towards, and then they put a couple of things: staking pool, team, burns, marketing, product development, operation costs, and taxes. Basically, the question is how much of the percentage of what is gained on our side and on the arena, and where does it go?
So the portion that is recouped on the arena side is kept very much there. So each battle that takes place has its own liquidity pool, and it's backed by a certain amount of liquidity, and that is used to balance the betting on both sides and also ensure that the wagers are covered. And so that the balance of that pool fluctuates depending on the success or the outcome of the previous wagered bets on the battle. So those will always stay kind of within that resource. In terms of allocations of tokens for other things, like community rewards, staking, those allocations were already baked into the tokenomics previously. And we, still have, those tokens allocated for those resources. They are not necessarily separated into different wallets. So and you can see it as some of the top holders list. But those tokens are essentially commingled together, but very much obviously earmarked for those resources. But to answer I think the most basic form of that question, the tokens that are recouped through battle stay there. So
no questions at the moment, so I'll carry on reading your previously made questions. So one major question that's happened a lot, and I'm going to try and merge them all into one, so apologies if I miss any of the points, has been about Season 2. So the main thing is, when is Season 2 starting? Because we know it's Q2, but whether if we're aiming for the middle of Q2 or the end of Q2. For those that don't quite grasp the concept of the quarters, Q2 is basically from April until June. Okay. I know some of you have asked this before, so we'll take this out of the way. So it's basically whether if we're aiming for May or if we're aiming for June. If it's possible to get a teaser of some sort before the launch, like what happened with Season 1, and whether if with Season 2 new things will come, not just gameplay-wise, but also in terms of listings and different marketing, etc. And it's a complex question, but...
Yeah, I mean, so we are not holding back on developments that are external to the project team, such as like listings and things of that nature. We are not holding back for the deployment of Season 2 for things like that. We still, are continuing to have conversations open, lines of conversation open, with the intent to get listed on a centralized exchange or multiple centralized exchanges. And I now have Zeus stepping in and getting up to speed on those conversations as well, to help manage those. I mean, Hermes can also attest to this as well. We have no shortage of listing agents, I guess, if you will, reaching out to the project. I would put it in the high 90s percentile that these are mostly fake. They're scams, or at the very least very disingenuous attempts to broker a listing for our project.
So and Matt only sees like half of them because I only have to filter out the scammers. We literally have some of them which are just scammers pretending to be those exchanges. So we actually have to ask them for any way of them to prove that they are working for that, and half of them aren't able to do so, or they want to pull us into like, no, I'll just pull you into this private group, and then we immediately know that they're not the real thing.
Yeah. I mean, and so we do still have open lines of communication, from the early days of launch of the project. A lot of things went really well and went right for the MK token at launch, and there's other things that haven't necessarily worked in our favor with respect to getting the token listed on a centralized exchange. Centralized exchanges, their number one goal and the only thing that they really care about is volume. How much volume can this token, if listed on this exchange, how much volume is essentially guaranteed that it'll bring, and that has been far and away like the trickiest part about getting listed on a centralized exchange, is that projects such as ours that are on Ethereum mainnet have not really been super successful, with the obviously some notable exceptions. Haven't really been successful at maintaining long-term, week over week volume, and mostly just attributed to the fact that buying and selling an ERC20 token on Ethereum mainnet, when there is volume, gets expensive, and there's some other options out there now, for instance, like on Base or Solana, or even Arbitrum, that provide a layer 2 solution where people can buy and sell with very minimal fees. So that's not necessarily worked in our favor, but I don't think that necessarily negates us from being listed. It's just all about timing. So we'll continue to explore those opportunities, the legit opportunities, as they present themselves.
Okay. So
and I know that there was more to that question, Hermes. So I think what we'll do obviously to because we're definitely going to be running short on time here, but what we will do is I'll do a follow up in writing to some of these questions.
Yeah, we'll do it like we did last time. So basically, anything that's not covered, we'll try to cover as much as we can on this half an hour. But let's
get somebody up here to do some chatting with us, though, so it's not just me.
Everyone's being very shy today. Oh no, there we go. We got someone. We got Time Bandit. Come.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Loud and clear.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hanging in there.
Me too. I've just got a question about the regulations on the gambling side of the platform. Is that going to be a problem in the future?
I mean, so in terms of like regulation, as of right now, the project still maintains that this is a play to earn game, which it's we don't necessarily, even though we for simplicity purposes use terms like betting and wager and things, very much still consider this a play to earn game, which haven't really been strictly regulated. But in terms of like future growth, expansion as we move through season 2 and look to offer different player types, player settings, the game layer will evolve. I think that it will look and feel even more like a play to earn game, and it'll fit more into that traditional mold. I don't really foresee there being a significant issue But yeah,
Okay,
maybe just
I see where you're going there. I do. It's going to go from a strict 50-50 chance game to a more elaborate uh, gamer type.
yeah. I mean, so we've maintained all along time, Bennett, that this is kind of like the very base version. A lot of it had to do with the actual foundation of the game, which is with a essentially what it's built on right now. Future iterations of the game will adapt to and integrate user input to determine outcomes and to also to drive enhanced playability of it. And so I think that as we move through season 2 and beyond, it will look and feel far more like what people currently associate with a play to earn game.
Awesome. That's a good answer. I appreciate your time and your work, guys. I'm going to go look at our eclipse in Texas.
All right. Thanks, Time Bennett.
Love the accent, by the way. It was lovely.
I don't ever hear that.
Immediately, I think you started talking immediately. Someone in the chat said, "Is he from Texas?"
Oh, yeah. That guy's from Texas. Yeah. No, really? There's nerds from Texas, too.
Thanks for your time.
Great.
At the moment, we have no requests from the audience, but we do have one general feeling. This is not so much a question, but it might be something you want to address. So there's been a bit of a feeling that the community has been pushed a bit to the side with the closing of Telegram, less marketing, the price going down. Yeah. Any comments you want to do on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that comments and concerns like that, I'll say at the onset that they aren't taken lightly. And internally, Hermes, you can vouch for this as well. We notice it, we discuss it, and we are, obviously looking to explore options on how to meet some expectations specifically around, like Telegram, and obviously the health and stability of the MK token is paramount to our, forward-looking success. So in terms of Telegram, I think that everyone that is listening in and that thinks about it in a rational way, if we are to go back to having a 2-community model like we did when we had both Telegram and Discord open at the same time, I think everyone would agree with me that it needs to be done in the right way, because a runaway Telegram community that is out of control or has kind of like no semblance of control is not going to be good for the project either. It needs to be moderated. It needs to be supported, and it needs to have some focus and direction. So with that being said, we definitely want to support that, and we'll look to do that. But it needs to be done in the right way, and it needs to be done thoughtfully. In terms of the token, I've asked, many times before, and I know this is hard for a lot of people that, have kind of more of a short-term vision with their involvement with the project, which is what it is. But I think that, again, the long-term value for MK is there, and I feel that strongly. And I think that the success of the token specifically is going to be measured over the long term, not necessarily during very short periods of time. And so we're obviously still kind of feeling some of the effects of some people that had bought into the pre-sale and got an exceptional deal on the token, as well as immediately after launch. And I think that there's been some excessive sell pressure that at some point will alleviate, will go down, and then that will allow for new people to come in and for price stability. But I think that we just obviously have to let those people make their decisions and do with as they will. But there's positive news, positive developments, and continued work happening, which I think in the long run will drive the value behind MK. And we'll park it there. I do apologize, everybody. I don't know why, but it always feels like the time on these calls specifically goes by so incredibly fast. We've already gone through the half hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit to following up some questions that have already been asked and prepared and captured in writing. Hermes is really good about putting those into a format that I can just quickly type out answers to, and so I'll do that. If I don't get to it immediately after this next call that I'm on, it will be within the next number of hours, provided that Hermes provides it for me. I'll just start typing away at it. But I appreciate you guys taking the time. I'll definitely aim to make sure that we have another one of these next week with more time. But thank you all for joining today, and maybe next time Zeus's microphone will work, and we can.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if Zeus is ready to say hello to the community.
Yep, I think he's got some microphone speaker issues today, so we'll.
Lesson learned today. We need to teach Zeus how to set up his microphone before doing the AMAs. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
people. Thank you very much for your time. Like Matt said, this was a very short one. Hopefully, the next one will be a bit longer. I'll pick up any questions that did not get answered. Oh, is this
Matt, can you hear me?
There we go. See, he does exist. He does have a voice. Hello, Zeus. Welcome to the stage. And we lost him.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one. And I'll drop in the questions for Matt, and then I'll drop the recording as soon as possible. Okay. Thank you very much, folks.